We're essentially running it pretty much the same way that we'd run it even if it was face-to-face, except it'll be in this sort of environment. It'll be in a Zoom type format. And what we do is we will have breakout rooms. So what will happen is you'll do group activities with your breakout rooms, and the breakout rooms will be sorted out by the particular stream that you've applied for. And so we'll have our assessors on that, you know, I guess, observing you and how you're going about that and assessing it against our criteria. And so that's the group activity. You'll get a scenario and you need to work together towards that to achieve what it is you need to achieve. And then there's an individual activity as well. So then you'll get time on your own to work through that. And then you'll need to come back and be assessed on that as well. So it wouldn't be any different from any other assessment centre, except it's just going to be virtual. You'll get assessed again. So you'll get assessed basically at each stage. There's a minimum criteria that we're looking for, right? So so given there's limited numbers in some of the streams like you saw, so where there's only one, you know, that pool could be really big, and so we would have to cut that quite short. And if you didn't make it, however, you're still within the limitations and that eligibility criteria, we'd look at potentially considering you for that second preference stream, depending on how that's working as well. So we'd always go off your first preference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I guess, and then look at it after that, depending on what the numbers are in terms of the stream that you're applying for. So if we still think, you know, you're absolutely suited to the other stream, we'll definitely throw you in that pool as well.
Okay. All right. No worries. Thanks again. Thanks. Ta.
I think you've answered this question here from Rahul, Savannah, but it was really just clarifying. Can graduates apply for multiple streams, or should they apply for multiple streams, or is there something in the application to do that?
Yeah. In the application, you have two preferences. So you've got, your first one and then your second one. And it would we'd apply the same sort of thinking around it.
Yep. So don't do lots of multiple ones and put in two.
There isn't an option to do multiple. There's an option to do two. Yeah. So we're happy to work with anybody who identifies with that. There's an opportunity to highlight that in your application process. So we'll contact you directly to work with you on what those adjustments or requirements are. So I guess Richard before talked about our values. So I guess we're looking for people that align to that. So in addition to academia, you know, we're also looking for a great fit for our organisation. So I guess a lot of the businesses, when they come in at the assessment centre, they're looking for that alignment. I don't know, I think better off Claire and maybe Heidi, you guys might be better at answering some of this from a business perspective particularly.
I can answer that, Savannah. So I guess probably we're looking for people, the collaboration component comes in, and I guess we would look pretty closely at how you would behave within a team setting, how you would behave in a stressful situation, so your natural tendencies, and some of the ability to handle that, some of the ability to probably work well with others in that sort of situation. So some of those soft skills, probably not, probably questioning assumptions a lot. So critical thinking skills is definitely a really important skill set that we would be looking for as well. And that's critical thinking skills and probably being very respectful of others when you do that. So that's sometimes those discussions need to occur when there's a lot of subject matter experts in a room and everyone can't have all the information to answer something. So we've got to really actually challenge each other and work with each other to solve some of our problems. So we're looking for those types of skills.
some of the grads might be good at answering this too, but I really think particularly around interview and assessment centre, really be yourself, be authentic, do your homework, and I guess, you know, really kind of bring those through, because we want to know what you're about, and that's the purpose of those assessment centres and interviews in particular. But I think, you know, having the grads, previous and current grads, go through it, I think, you know, it'll be really good to hear from them about what they think is key, as well, as given they've gone through that experience. So I don't know, maybe Helen?
I think I can definitely echo everything that Silvana said. I think really just being yourself, and really the feedback that I got from my experience was that just kind of use your passions to guide you. So I know that I've always loved science. I've always loved the science behind what we do, and then linking that back to patients. So if you have anything that you're really passionate about, I would really suggest that can like shine through in how you present yourself, and then yeah, just being yourself, and that will always just ring true to what you've got to say.
I might add to that. I think the most important thing that that I was told in advance of any interviews that I've done have been to, even if you haven't been asked, follow the STAR method for answering questions. This is where you introduce a situation that you are in, the direct task that you were given, what action you particularly performed, and the result as like from what you've done. And so that also speaks to what sort of experience you should aim to be building up. You want to have a suite of those questions to be able to answer, where you can easily break it down into those few things, because the reality is you're given maybe 10 minutes to express yourself, and a lot of that does require a bit of preparation. So never lie, and always tell the truth, but have a set collection of stories to answer when you go in.
Awesome, thank you.
Claire or Heidi, maybe from a business perspective as well, you know, I guess what, particularly around interview time, you know, what are some of those things you're looking for? Because at that point, I guess, you know, we've gone through the rigmarole of academia, the assessment centres and everything, and, you know, at this last point, you know, is there any key sort of takeaways for the applicants to take away here?
I think probably in some of my experience in the assessment centre, when you get a one-on-one conversation with someone, I think it's probably to really keep some of the explanation quite simple and quite to the point. I think it's surprising how much time is spent probably with a little bit of goof, and you really do only have, particularly in the assessment centre, there's only a very short period of time. It doesn't need to be too complicated, but it needs to be quite to the point. Interviews, you've got a bit more time to explore, and so therefore I think probably the next step would be interview process, so reflecting on some of those experiences there and trying to broaden out that conversation. But I think the first initial part, where you get those one-on-one conversations in the assessment centre, that's where it's really you're going to have to hit the mark there. So there's going to have to be a real skill set in trying to really narrow down and simplify some of your stories to hit the mark quickly, because you really don't have much time there.